Good evening, guys. It's me, Alex, Dispatch Training Center. And as we promised before, we are coming back with our guest, Nicholas from Truckstop. And we guys are going to be discussing all other products that they are offering. As you remember, last time we were going over their load board, the features, we were talking about how the dispatchers, carriers, and anybody who is looking to connect the loads can use the load boards. Well, besides that, every big company, of course, has other services. So let's bring the Nick, and he's gonna talk about factoring, RMIS onboarding, and TMS, it's Dispatch TMS, and all other options that they are offering to us. So I'm gonna welcome him. Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back.
Of course.
So, what would you like to share first?
Well, I'm going to just kind of briefly go over what I'm going to share today. You already touched on it, ITS dispatch, our factoring, and then RMIS. We're going to do a deeper dive into what ITS dispatch is. It's our TMS, kind of how it works and what you can do with it, how you can stay organized using it. Then we'll touch on RMIS. It is a product that we sell to brokers and shippers so that they can onboard carriers and get paperwork and contracts, insurance. But it's important for carriers to understand what it is, how it works, and how it can actually make their lives easier. And then we'll touch on our factoring and some of the options that we have through Truckstop when it comes to factoring. So,
Well, let's go back to understanding for some newbies TMS. Well, TMS
sure.
stands for the Tracking Management Software.
Yep.
And we have so many products nowadays.
Yep.
Everybody's calling and promising you, well, we are the best TMS. You should
Yeah.
use us. And of
Yep.
course, as a carrier, you need to watch first about the monthly payments, how many users you can have, but
Yep.
also all the options.
Hmm.
And I am familiar with bunch of different products on the market since we are dispatch training center, so we never advertise only one product.
Sure.
We want to make sure that people can choose what is
Yeah.
good for their budget, what is good for their size, because it's a difference when you have a small fleet and you have a mega fleet.
Absolutely.
And it also it depends how innovative they are. So
Hmm.
let's see, why do you think that truck stop its dispatch has that niche on this market? And I will be
Yeah.
picking through some things. You might
Yeah.
not like it or like it, but I will look at it as a carrier, as an
Sure.
owner of the business, also as a dispatcher, how
Yep.
easy it is to use, and plus safety manager. Because for me, ideal TMS nowadays, this is a TMS which can combine everything. When I can
Sure.
have my accounting, when I can have the app for driver, when I can
Yeah.
have all the load management, and of course, safety and compliance. So let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, yeah. So our TMS, it's been around since about 2008, 2009. Of course, we made enhancements since then, but it was, I would say, kind of a grandfather in the IT or in the TMS world. Like you said, there's hundreds of them out there. It's a very easy on the eyes, easy to use and learn how to use it. We see a lot of smaller companies using the platform. We do have a few like medium-sized fleets in there, but it's really for those guys that are trying to get started and just need something to stay organized. We even have a package directly made for owner operators. It's $50 a month. It helps them with their payroll, keep track of maintenance for their trucks. So it doesn't really matter the size, especially if you're smaller on its use. So yeah, let's go into it. If you want to find out any more information about it, you can just go to the carrier dropdown. This is going to show you all of our different options or products that we offer to carriers, but you can find more details in the TMS section. But this is kind of what it looks like. There is some customization that you can do to it. You can have your company name up here. You can also put your logo on here. You can also put your logo so it shows up on documents, but really the backbone of ITS dispatch is setting it up, and that's where everything is done in the admin. So you have your customers or the brokers that you work with. So once you sign up with them and you get some of their billing details, you would set them up in here. You have your origins, is what I call them. So where's it picking up? What's the time frame that they have? Are they first come, first serve? Any additional notes for those warehouses?
So let's stop right here. You have
Sure.
shippers, so shippers, consignee, receivers. So let me
Yep.
ask you, if I
Yep.
am picking up, let's say Walmart's, Costco, Aldi's, anybody
Hmm.
else, the moment I'm gonna add that shipper, is that gonna stay there? So then in
Yep.
future I can actually go and search by the name. For
Yep.
example, Walmart 75. I don't know if they have that 75,
Sure.
whatever, right? So
Yep.
can I find that? And if something changed, because a lot of times what happens, receivers, shippers, they buy new facilities, and sometimes
Sure.
other changes, or they move to the new facility. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
easy to add.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely easy to add. So you can either do it in two places, kind of in the admin, just click the add button. As you can see, we don't require a whole lot. You can add as much as you want or not very much if you don't want to, but shipping hours, appointments, all of this information will reflect on the PDF that you can send to your driver. And then you have notes, so shipping notes. If nothing changes at that facility, it's always first come, first serve. Internal notes for yourself, of course. But
So if,
if it
for example, I
changes,
want to make a note, well, it's hard to park, usually security is not friendly or friendly,
yep,
I can make those notes, and those notes would be transferred to the driver, or they just
yep.
stay internally for dispatcher or owner operator.
If it's an internal note, it's only going to be internally. But if it's a shipping note, it's going to reflect on the rate confirmation. Yes. Yeah, and
Okay.
same with any of this information on the screen that you see, shipping hours. So the driver will know everything. So again, just kind of depends on how much information you want to give to your driver and not give to them.
And how
But
does
it's
this
super easy.
information get transferred, for
Yeah,
example?
yeah. So here's a load, for example, right here. If we go into it, so when you're making a load, super easy. So once you enter it in once, you never have to do it again, and you can just type in a city, for example, and then it auto-populated Coca-Cola. But if I do it up here in the shipper area, you'll see I have a couple options. So I can choose Coca-Cola, Truckstop, wherever it's going to be picking up from.
Okay.
Let's do Chicago back in here. And then here's kind of the second place that you can add things. So if you are in the middle of making a load, you don't see that place pop up. That's what these green little plus signs are for. So you can just add a receiver while you're making the load, save it,
Mhm.
so you don't have to exit out. Well, let's adjust some of these dates. This one looks like it's an older one. So we'll go March 7th. We'll put a time on here. And then let's do the 9th. Say 1 o'clock. We'll kind of start at the top. So all of this information from, I would say, the shipper downwards will be on the rate confirmation to the driver. And then, of course, like equipment type will be on there, his truck number, his trailer number, as long as you assign it. And then this information up here, though, this is internal use. So you have the broker that you're billing the load to. You have your rate that you're charging to the broker. You can itemize picks and drops or fuel, or if you just wanted to write in whatever, detention, tarps, you can see things that are auto-populating because I've typed that in there before. So super easy once you've made a few loads, right? You have my drop down for all my drivers. You
So
can do multiple drivers.
let's assign, like, for example, to the truck and to
Mhm.
the trailer, so we can see how it's gonna populate when I want to see if it's
Yeah.
dispatch or not dispatch.
Yeah, so here we can see my truck is overdue for some maintenance. There's a maintenance build in, so it's going to keep track of maintenance. Also, you can do other inspections, things like that. Same with the drivers too, medical. We'll do a trailer on there. And then I think I have it all good. Let's click this little house. Looks like my driver's starting over in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We'll click the little calculator. So he's going to do, unfortunately, 963 empty miles, and then loaded, he's doing about 1,700. So let me
I'll
save
make
it
that
real quick.
for a
Yeah,
dispatcher. Get
I
adding
know, I know.
963 miles. We
Not
need to
very
say
good.
classes.
But right there, I mean, it does the math for you. It uses pro miles to calculate the
Okay.
mileage for you. So you can see what the driver is doing. This all plays into the maintenance and keeping track of gross revenue per mile. But you can easily just email your driver the rate con. I'll hit print on this one. and then you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
So has your logo up there, driver's details, and then you can choose to show the driver his pay, because as you know, there's multiple options that you can pay a driver per mile or percentage, and so you can choose to show them
So
how much they're
this
going to get
is
paid.
internal kind of rate confirmation. So if I
Yes.
put everything, let's say I received the rate confirmation from TQL, right?
Right. Yep.
And I
Yep.
put all the information here. I put
Yeah.
all the information here. When I'm gonna share, it's kind of creates new information because you're gonna see that it's picking up, let's say Chicago, it's going to Boise. You can
Yep.
even put what kind of commodities, when it's pick up, when it's so this is kind of now your
It's
because
my
you
rate confirmation,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
your company rate
Yep.
confirmation.
Yep. I don't have to white out anything or make up something or text them the details. This is yours, and you can choose whether or not you want to show him how they're going to get paid. Most of the time, the percentage drivers are going to want to know how much they're going to get paid on the load. So this is always something you can show them.
So
But
let me ask you then this,
yeah.
because we are in the real trucking. So if I am a company with 5 trucks and I'm a carrier, 3 trucks are my own trucks. They are
Mm-hmm.
company drivers and 2 are owner operators. I see that
Yep.
Mr. Lincoln is watching. So he's an owner operator. So
Okay.
if I'm using this It's Dispatch and I'm just going to receive rate confirmation from TQL and I'm going to put everything, but instead of $2,500, which TQL paid me, I'm going to put $2,000 because how does Mr. Lincoln gonna know how much was this load paid?
Right.
This look really official.
Yeah.
So
So
do owner operators like this, or they still want to
they
have
still
original
might.
confirmation which you can attach here
Right.
so you can receive it as well?
Yeah, they might want to see the original, of course, but unfortunately, I mean, you're not able to. You can upload the rate confirmation. So let's say let me grab a document here real quick, just a random one off my computer. But let's pull this over here. There's this little file box down here.
Okay.
So this is going to be where it looks like I have a driver image in there, but I can talk about that here in a minute. But if you just wanted to take any document, drag and drop it in there, I just grabbed it from my other screen. But Raycon from the broker, bill of lading, PODs, whatever paperwork, and then you can either email it individually to your driver, to your customer, and then you'll also be able to attach these documents to your invoice when you get to that final stage of doing it. And then you know, you may have a load that they're wanting the POD from 6 months ago. Instead of having to dig through file cabinets, you can just do a little load search up in the dispatch and find that load, download the document, and go from there. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what kind of driver you have. Like those 3 trucks, if they are yours, those are typically going to be your company drivers. So you usually would pay them a per mile. So this is able to calculate their pay, which will ultimately show you how much money you are making. It doesn't account for everything that's out there, but it helps.
Okay, so what are you guys using for? Are you using PC Miler or Pro Mile, or what are you
Pro
using
miles.
from Pro Mile? So you
Yeah,
have
the
the
pro
Pro Mile.
miles. So if you have a excuse me, if you have a per mile driver, you would need to put that mileage into these 2 boxes for it to do the math. We're going to give you an estimate. This is city to city. It's not exact address to address mileage. So I always tell everybody this is just giving you an estimation. You take the actual numbers and you can plug them into here and it will calculate. There's also an option for hourly, but that's going to be more for your local guys. And then for the percentage, it's honestly, it's just, there's no work to it. It's going to take whatever percentage you're paying the driver and take it out of here. If you go into the driver's profile, you can see I have all of his information laid out. I have his medical test, his drug test, gives you 30-day warnings prior to that expiring. So you have a heads up about it. And then his pay, so you adjust it. If it's a percentage, you put in percentage. Does he get a percentage of detention, picks and drops? I like to explain these tabs as, is there something that you're always paying them on a per load? If there is, then you can add those in here, or deducting on a per load. But if you have something that you're always adding or taking out on a per pay cycle, so he's got 5 loads, child support, trailer rental, whatever it is, escrow accounts, you can add those in. So you can see I have zeros. So sometimes that charge that you're taking out fluctuates, like fuel. So then you want to enter that in, or you can just have something every time it's $100, and we just deduct that from his paycheck. So it
So for
helps with the
small
payroll.
carriers, for the small carriers, it's a really easy accounting then, because
Yeah,
all the
it's
loads
super
are
easy.
there. Yeah,
Yep.
so miles calculated. So you just need to make sure that you pay attention to like layovers, detention, maybe some
Mhm.
other fluctuating like fuel and everything else. So this is pretty easy for smaller carriers.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. And then there's also another good way to keep track of, maybe he called you up and said, hey, I need to get reimbursed for some parking or whatever it may be. While you're in the load, just get it ready to, that driver pay part of it. And so you can do it on the fly. There's also this little texting. So instead of emailing the rate con, you can just click
Okay.
this little cell phone. Looks like there's already been a conversation started here, but you can just text them the load details. So you just hit send message. There's a little load information, and you can see it drops in the basics, and then you can
Are
just
there
send.
any additional charges for the
Nope.
from the phone providers or no?
No, not from the phone providers. We have a couple plans. We have like the owner operator. We have a basic plan, and then we have a pro plan. The text messaging is included in the pro plan, so you don't pay anything extra.
Let's go through those plans. So how much are you guys charging for
Yeah.
starting up? That goes by truck? Is it goes
Nope.
by how does it go?
Well, kind of truck. Oh, I think I went to the wrong one here. Let's go
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So TMS. So yeah, if you have 1 to 2 trucks, you would go with the owner operator package, which is $50 a month. It is unlimited users. So you can have, there's a couple of different roles, but there's admins who can clearly do everything. And then there's the dispatchers. They don't see any of the invoicing or driver pay. They just simply dispatch. So you can add as many users as you'd like. And then after that, it goes on to unlimited trucks. So you can add as many trucks, drivers as your heart desires. And then 75 and 99. The biggest differences, I would say, are going to be the driver messaging and then the digital file storage, which is that little file box I clicked on. And then, some people really like the maintenance. It's a nice little feature to help you create a budget for here's how much I'm expecting to spend on oil changes, whatever it may be. And then you actually enter in those services and you can download kind of profit and loss maintenance reports from there.
So
These
for
other ones
$99,
are just little ones.
I can have unlimited trucks
Yep. Yep. You can
and
add as many as
unlimited
you want.
users and
Yep.
unlimited users. That's pretty good price compared to what we have on the market.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, and it's fairly
let me
priced.
also ask you this, Nick. Let's say I started with you guys, I used you
Mhm.
for a year, and then I decided, well, I don't like to use it. Can I have a backup information? Can I back my files? Because we need them, for example, for
Sure.
EFTAS, we need them for IRPs, we need them for safety and compliance. So are
Yeah.
you offer that?
So you're not going to be able to do like a mass export of all your documents. Of course, you can go through your loads and export them. We also will let you come back into your account, or we can go into your account for you as well afterwards. We keep your information on file for, I think it's about 7 years after you cancel. So we have plenty of customers that just sign up, maybe grab a couple things and head on out. Some of the information that you can take out of here, though, in mass amounts is like your customer list,
Mhm.
your origins, your destinations. We can also help if somebody is transitioning from one TMS to ITS Dispatch. We can import their customers for them and their shippers and their consignees, drivers, trucks, trailers. So really
That's
just
actually
depends.
probably going to happen more often because usually
Yeah,
people sign up for TMS. It's too expensive or it's too complicated, but they are staying there because they're like, oh my God, how I'm going to switch this to the new TMS? How I'm going
yeah.
to do all this? Because it does take time to enter
Oh,
every
yeah.
truck, every trailer, every driver,
Yep,
so that's why it's always headache. I remember when I
yep.
was trying to switch from one TMS to another, this was my biggest worries. And of course, the most majority of information was transferred, but this is kind of something which, as a carrier, as owner of the company, you're afraid to deal with because you know that
Oh
it's
yeah,
time consuming.
it's huge. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of different ways to, you could export all of your loads if you wanted to and take that with you. But yeah, we can definitely help with that.
I see that you have that color coding. So if, for example, he's loading whatever, you can change the colors, right? So it's easy because
Yep.
if you dispatch 7, 10 trucks, you want to see, well, those are driving, those are delivering,
Yep.
those already on the break or whatever. So
Yep.
you have different options. And can we change those colors or those are pre-assigned colors?
Those are pre-assigned colors. What you can change is when you change the status, that's going to change the color, of course. And then yes, you can filter by alphabetically, driver or ship dates, however you would like to sift through that. There is also integrations with our load board. I don't think I have mine connected right now, but you can post your truck to Truckstop from here by just clicking this little line. And then there's also an option to search for loads up in the Truckstop load search, but you do have to have a load board subscription in order to do that. Just really depends on if you want to go through this or through the load board itself.
Okay, let's go back to other services, which is like IFTA. Is IFTA
Sure.
included in that 99 per month, or that's a
Yeah.
separate agreement for the IFTA? Because I remember I used your IFTA guys for
There
probably
is
4 years, and it
there
was a
is a
separate agreement.
It is. It's not necessarily an agreement. There's extra fees to it, and it's $5 per truck. So, and that's with the $99 plan. You'll see it's right. Automate your IFTA reporting. So it gives you the ability to do the IFTA reporting, but every truck you would like to do the IFTA for is $5 per truck. So it is kind of a manual process. We don't have any integrations with like ELDs or fuel cards. We do the best to assist our customers. We still have a lot of customers that do it this way, but it's a matter of entering in your fuel receipts. Really, where did you fill up? How much did you fill up with? And how much did you spend? And then the mileage, when you do that little calculator, that calculates your waypoints is what it's called. Let's go into here.
Okay.
So you'll see I have a little waypoint.
So if the dispatcher enters everything correct, then it's going to be correct. But I remember that usually end of the quarter, I would just download my fuel, and I would just send it to you guys. And you guys were really fast, and you would enter all this, so I don't have to sit here and enter all the fuel. So it was like done probably in
it's
half an hour.
super easy. It's literally, let's just choose a random truck here. So it's like a template that just has these columns on it, and you just send that to us. We put it into your ITS dispatch, and then once you have everything lined up, you got to make sure your waypoints are all correct. I haven't used this in a little while, but yeah, there's one. So it hasn't been verified. I would just auto miles it. It would do the routes. So my start point, my pickup, my delivery, my end point, and then you'll be able to generate a couple different reports. So there's the monthly mileage report, quarterly report. I think I have something from 2020.
Okay.
Let's do, yeah. It takes you, when you're not really running a trucking company, it can be challenging to line up all these loads and enter in fake information. So I think I did it back then, and I never did it again because I don't actually own any trucks. So this is kind of high level what it would look like. Puts it in there. I'm based out of Idaho, so has my Idaho State Tax Commission on there. Looks like I'm getting a refund of $21. Lays out all the states. And I think there's even for those odd states like Oregon, and there's some other ones in here. Yeah, you have like the
road use reports for New York, Kentucky, New Mexico, and now Connecticut as well. So we have those.
Yep.
So 5 states now. And you know why I did like this? Because when you have owner operators, we pay IFTA as whole together for all trucks, but then you don't know what to charge for each truck. So that's why when you do the general IFTA, you see the all trucks, but then you can go and choose exactly, well, this guy is getting money back, this guy has to pay money. So this is the fair if you have owner operators working under UMC, because most of the companies, what they do, which I am very against to, when they say, well, we charge IFTA every week $50 for every driver. But this is totally unfair, because some drivers actually, the way they fuel, the way they ride, and whatever miles they use in each state, sometimes they need to receive money back. So this is unfair use. And I can tell you this, most of those mega carriers, this is the biggest scam, because in the end of the quarter, they actually receive money back, but they never give it to their drivers. So actually, they make thousands of dollars on charging IFTA just uh, $50, $35 per week. And that's why I really did like that option, that you can go and tell, here's your fuel, here's your
Yeah.
miles, here, that's what you pay, you receive back. And as a company, you are actually getting plus and minuses. So this was a fair. That's
Yeah.
the thing I did like about its dispatch.
Yeah. That's
So
a good
yeah,
point to make.
the EFTA. So
Yeah.
what else? So let's see the maintenance. So in
Yeah.
maintenance, we can do all of these things. So what
Yeah,
is it?
it's pretty neat. So there's a little bit of a setup process, and really depends on how you want to do it. But I suggest starting kind of in the budget, going through what is everything that you spend money on. As you can see, I've even talked to customers, how can I track every truck payment or my insurance? So you don't necessarily have to use this for maintenance. You can do this for whatever you want. So if you just add it, you create your own categories. Here's
Mhm.
just the ones that I have, and then click this little plus sign. What's it applicable to? So is it every truck, every trailer, every truck and trailer? And then let's say we choose a truck. You can see it drops down and says reoccurs monthly, yearly, every 1 month, or every miles, and then your cost. So that's your budget, and that's where you're going to get the notifications. Hey, you have to get this repaired in 30 days or this done in 30 days. Of course, you can, what do I budget for individual categories? But what I really like is, okay, something happened. It doesn't look like anything's happened in this time frame, but all you do is just add, and then, okay, I got my brakes done. I got it at Mike's repair shop, and I got it for truck 100. It was $800. You can upload your invoice in there
Okay.
too, and then you can run reports. So if I had more in here, of course, it would show me my total expenses. So that's one way of kind of keeping track of how much money you're spending. You have a little calendar.
Your operational cost, your preventive maintenance cost,
Yep.
so people understand what is it going to be in 1 month, so they can start putting money aside for
Yep.
that preventive maintenance account, and actually knowing your operational cost. And that's
Yep.
what most of the small carriers are struggle with, because they never go through the numbers. They see that, oh, money come in, I am probably good, I'm making some money. But if you really calculate all of this, preventive maintenance, your repairs, whatever your payments, insurance, other things, dispatch fees, even software expenses, right? For
Yep.
TMS, for load board, a lot of people are actually barely making right now, especially now in this tough market. So this is
Yep.
very good, and you can
Yeah.
organize it very easy. And it's gonna help you right now. We all struggle in beginning of the year, right? We have to
Yep.
prepare for our taxes. So you need to break down even for the driver. Well, if he wants to know how much he spent if he was owner operator on maintenance, because he needs to produce those receipts. We need
Yep.
this for audits when we have safety and compliance audits. We need it for IFTA. We need it for IRP. So, I mean, this is a good way to keep everything in one system. Okay, so you
It
guys
is.
see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I like this high level, like here's what you budgeted, and then if this number is over it, you spent too much money. And so where did you spend that money at? So it kind of breaks it down per trailer, per truck. Again, this would look more legit if I had a trucking company, but you can do all kinds of categories, and I need to dial into specific trucks, certain dates. We see a lot of people sign up for the TMS kind of at the end of the year, and even at the beginning of the year, they're getting ready for the next year, right? So it's the time to keep track of everything, and that's the best way to do it. So yeah, the maintenance, that's one thing, and then you have the sales manager. I wouldn't say this is used a whole lot, but if you're one of those carriers that wants to go out there and find your own customer base, and instead of maybe working directly with brokers, you can, I call it a mini CRM. You can see I have
Okay.
little prospects. And so if you made a few phone calls, you can take notes. So I got Jim on the line. It's always, I worked in the brokerage world. So it was all about taking notes. What did you talk about? What do they do? When do they have the most volume? So it is, if you want to be, I guess, formal, and if he didn't give you business today, when you call him back in a month, at least you can show that you remembered your last conversation. And you can move
That's
them through different stages, meeting time set, and you can create these different statuses. These are just ones that we did. And then you can also create quotes for them. Looks like we have a lot of different quotes that have been created in here, but it's
Mhm.
important if you are running with a customer repetitively and they're just looking for spot quotes. Let's go over here and look at some of these ones. Um, it's good to always make sure that you have the right price, or you kind of stay in line. You don't want to charge them too much. Hey, why are you charging me $1,000 more this week than you did last week? Oh, I just messed up. But you can send this over to them in a formal quote. So
Okay.
it lays
Also, this
down
is
the
great
lane.
report. Okay, nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what the reference sales rep, okay,
yep,
customer and detail. That's what we can do. This rate expiring 7. Okay, so this is creates the and this is very helpful, especially for the carriers with 2, 3 trucks, because most of them are
yeah,
still on the road and they unfortunately have not been working around like creating documents, working with Adobe Word. So
yep,
it's actually pretty nice because this is the biggest problems when they try to become a big bosses, because they
yeah.
just been working hard. They've been on the
I,
road. So this
mhm.
is a good way
Yeah, I could
to.
see it even being used for those new carriers that, sometimes it can be really hard to work with brokers because they don't want to work with brand new authorities. Well, still put them in as a prospect, put in their rules, what they require, and then if you really want to do business with them, call them back up when you've hit that
Nowadays,
time.
you know what? It depends how old is your 30. You're gonna put
Hmm.
here, okay, GB Han recently changed. You have to be in the business 1 year. So here you go,
Yeah,
GB Han. Call them
yeah,
back in a year. Well,
yeah,
somebody else like, oh, now they need inspection. So call them back when you have inspection. So this is
yeah,
something good internally used by owner, by dispatcher, by maybe his wife who is helping him with the
yeah,
paperwork.
yep,
Okay, so let me ask you that since we have the users, different users, let's say
sure.
it's a family business. I am
Hmm.
the owner of the truck. I am on the road. I am barely gonna put the information. Let's say my wife is dispatches, but
Hmm.
then they have somebody who runs their safety or maybe accountant, and some information is crucial. Let's even
Hmm.
take the CDL, original CDL, social securities, drug test results. Is there a way for me to restrict that this user can only see, let's say, only loads, only can see shippers, but
Hmm.
cannot go to the sensitive information?
Yeah, so an admin can see everything. They can go into everything. A dispatcher can only dispatch loads. They can put like the price of what they're getting from the broker, and then, but all the driver pay is set up by the admins. You can give, let's see if I have, yeah, there's just a dispatcher right here. There is a
Okay.
couple permissions, like they can only create pending loads or only create pending loads. You can give them access to the driver's pay if you wanted to, but that's up to you as well. So they are only going to be able to make loads and dispatch them. They won't be able to go into the accounting. They won't be able to go into the dashboard, which shows money. So anything with really with money and important information.
Okay.
So
So let's
a little
go
bit.
to accounting. So in
Yeah.
accounting, let's go there. So we can
Yeah.
accounting manager, driver, sales, accounting summary, accounting
Yep.
export, invoice.
So yeah, I have a combo account, so I have some features that a broker would have since this is a dual authority TMS. But
Mhm.
as a carrier, you're going to be using the accounting manager and then the driver pay manager. Now, if you are a carrier and you have maybe a dispatcher that gets paid a commission, you can set them up as a dispatcher and a sales rep, and then it can actually calculate their commission if you do it that way. I've had a few. This does integrate with QuickBooks. So if you have QuickBooks Online, it seamlessly integrates where you don't have to export anything, but it also works kind of with offline or desktop version of QuickBooks where you would export your invoices. So let's take this load here that we were dealing with earlier. We'll say the load's delivered. Oh,
Mhm.
let's refresh real quick. go. Where's that? There we go. Say it's been delivered. You can send your customer a little notification on the load status. That's kind of when you set up your customer, that is.
Okay.
But this is, so there's two tabs. You have your open loads and then your delivered ones. Your delivered are, okay, they're done, but I'm waiting on the paperwork from the driver. So with that, once you get that paperwork, you would mark that load as being complete. I'm ready to invoice it. So then you go to the accounting manager, go to your completed, and I got 2 loads in there. We'll just do this one. You can make any edits whenever you want, really. It's really user friendly. So click invoice, and then it will download a copy for me.
Okay.
Again, my logo, here's what your invoice would look like. If you had any detention or anything along those lines, you can itemize it. And then you can just head on over to your invoice tab, and then you can hit this little email invoice. There's my customer, there's my invoice, and then I can attach those documents that I had in the little file box, send it. And then once you get paid, mark it as paid, and it moves it over here. So you
Okay,
can
but let me go back. Most of us are using factoring.
Sure.
So can I connect, for example, maybe I use your Eats Dispatch, but I'm not using your factoring. I use RTS or I use Water Capital. Is that connected automatically? So when I click that invoice, it's going to go to my factoring, or I still have to go onto RTS online and do it there as well?
You would have to do it online there. So if they're a factoring company that makes you upload the documents to their website, then there is no connection with any other factoring companies. But you can set it up to where the factoring company's email address will auto-populate when you go to send the invoice, and you can send it that way. But that's the only way around it.
Okay. Because some of the TMSs, they do have that option where they do integrate your factoring, and when you just click, it just automatically does. Okay, what does it at least do with your factoring? Because this is going to be our second topic. So if I do have Eats Dispatch from Truckstop, and I also have factoring from Truckstop, does it at least integrate both of your products?
No, it doesn't. And the reason for that is because there's 2 ways that you can submit your paperwork with our factoring. One is you can email us, but we actually prefer that you do your submission through the mobile app, because on the mobile app, you can take a picture of any document. You can also choose a picture or a document from your phone. If we go to this here, it's easy as this. On the mobile app, you can do multiple things. You can factor, you can also look for loads. So when you want to factor a load, you just click the little factor a load, and you can also check a broker's factorability from there too. But then it will just ask you for a few quick things: the broker's name, load number, and then have you attach those documents, and that automatically submits it. We prefer it this way because with the picture taking, it does a capture assist is what it's called, and so it makes sure that it's kind of like if you do mobile banking and you want to take a picture of a check. It tells you to move in, move out, make sure you get the perfect picture, and it helps with getting you paid quicker, because we've noticed that.
Let me ask you this. So now I'm the owner of 5 trucks, right?
Sure.
So I have company drivers, I have owner operators. So you telling me that each driver has to do this on their phones?
No, not each driver. You would be factored underneath one company. So
no, I understand, but who is going to be submitting all the paperwork? So if I'm in the office, I'm not driving right here. I have my 2 screens. I don't want to do it on the phone. I want to be. It has to be.
No, you can do it. Yeah, the other way is through the email. So you could invoice us or send us your paperwork through email if you wanted to. We don't have, like our website, we do have factoring on our load board as a drop down, but there's no way to submit your documents through there. We've noticed that even with people submitting their paperwork through email, sometimes we'll get pictures that are not legible, can't read them, or they're upside down, or it's not even a picture of what they meant to send us. So we try to eliminate as many errors, but yeah, those are the only 2 ways, is either email us directly or to do it on the mobile phone.
So let's go through some factoring right now. So
Sure.
same day pay. Till what
Yep.
time do you have cutoff time?
I believe it's noon. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is noon
Okay,
for
flat
that
rate.
day.
How much do you guys charge?
I think the minimum is right around 2.99%, and that can vary though. It can be based on many things. One of those is like load volume, of course, but I believe the rate is 2.99.
Okay. So no recourse. What do you guys provide? Both of the options or just one?
Nope, just one, which is simply if the broker doesn't pay, then we're not going to come after you for that money. Yep.
Okay. It's if they did check the broker's
Yes, yes,
approval,
it is
right?
important. Yep. And so there's, well, of course, they can do it from the phone or they can do it from the load board or they can call us and we can do it for them. But there has to be a history of them doing the broker factorability check.
Okay. Let's see flexible cancellation. So for
Mhm.
how many months do I have to sign up agreement for factoring or how many
Yeah,
years?
I don't believe there. I don't know. I don't have the right amount of time. I don't know if it's a year or not. I do know that it's pretty flexible though. It's not like huge cancellation fees or you have to factor every load with us. So that's what
Okay.
I do know.
And we have also no minimum. So that means if this
Yep.
month my husband decide not to drive and he's only have
Hmm.
5,000, you don't charge no minimums. Next month he
Correct.
goes and he does not come back home. Hopefully he makes at least 25 grand in gross, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
No
So
minimums. Pretty
factoring
simple.
is here.
Yep.
It's dispatch. So what else? Is there anything you want to catch up on the It's Dispatch? Because we are already in 40 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Uh, no, I think overall, I always like ending on the dashboard. It's always a good, let's look at this year, for example, say January 1st. Because as you know, being in the industry, there's days where, oh, I didn't do the right years, where you're going to make money, but then there's going to be a day where maybe you lost some money. But at the end of the month, really, were you in the green or were you in the red? So I really like this. You can do whatever dates you'd like. It will tell you high level, kind of what's your average margin, your percentage, any gross revenue, and where that spiked at. Anything expiring. So I have a bunch of things expiring for my trucks, like annual
Okay,
inspections.
annual inspection
Yep.
registration. Okay.
And then we have our customers. I like this one, showing you who's doing the most loads with you, your net profit. So this is accounting for what did I pay my driver. So you can say I lost $1,500. And then it breaks it down by gross revenue for your drivers, gross revenue per mile, anything expiring. So this is
That doesn't
really neat
exist, Nick.
for,
Your data does not exist. We're not in 392 per mile. We're not
I
in
know.
353 per mile. So come on, let's keep it real, truck stop. When you guys do
Uh,
demo, let's do the real numbers.
hey, again, I'm paying myself here. I'm in here. I'm my driver. So
Wow, you
uh,
paying pretty well. I would love to be in your
I
position
know,
for 363 per mile. While everybody who's watching us now, they want
but
to work.
hey, look at the time span. I'm doing the year so far, and we're not doing so hot. So,
Okay.
but yeah, that's high level ITS dispatch. Really, what the main people use it for. Just keeping organized. I always say it's nothing fancy, but it's easy to use and helps
Pretty
you
easy, yeah,
dispatch
easy,
your
yeah,
drivers.
easy to see, easy to enter. And then
Yeah.
truck stop configurations, that's when you have the load board, or what is that
Yeah,
about?
that's other things in here. We don't really even offer any of these, but the load board is really the main integrations, and then we have the integrations with QuickBooks. So
Okay, let's remove
yeah,
this for a second. Let's answer a few questions, and then we're gonna go
sure.
through to RMIS. So let's see who is watching us. Well, Marina is previous student, Mr. Lincoln, who just got to Chicago delivering cucumbers and tomatoes for Moranos. What else? He's asking, does it sync with factoring? Okay, so
Yep.
we just
Yep.
answered that you do need to go and submit that.
Hmm.
Okay, what else do they ask? Does a TMS syncs with the FMCSA? And that's why he's asking the question, because he was taking my safety and compliance class, and some TMS do have option where they connect to data queue and FMCSA safety scores. So you guys do not have that connection, right? Do
Well,
you?
I mean, so it's not necessarily a connection. Let me go into the ITS dispatch again.
Okay.
We have another product called Safer Watch, which is typically used by brokers, and it's if I wanted to add a carrier, you can see I have a little Safer Watch breakdown, but Safer Watch integrates with the FMCSA. There is a little, I can put an MC number here, and I can go to the FMCSA. You'll see it just takes me over to the FMCSA.
Okay.
But with Safer Watch, let's plug in that MC, hit import. You'll see it imports FMCSA information. It can import insurance certificates. These are insurance certificates that we get from RMIS. And then it does give you CSA basics, safety ratings. So yeah, if you are a carrier, you're working with owner operators that have their own authority, then this could be used to verify their authority, and it monitors them as well. It's
And the
not
same
necessarily.
report, this is a third party, right? Who just you guys integrated.
No, SaferWatch is actually our product.
Oh, is
It's
it?
one of ours. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's mainly sold to brokers because they're the ones trying to do the risk management compliance on carriers. But we do have carriers that sign up with SaferWatch just so they can pull in certain information. It's a really neat little tool. Pulls through violations and pulls in a little risk management that you can set up. If he didn't have authority, it would show up as unacceptable, and you'll get email alerts when things go bad, authority or losing insurance, and we monitor all of that for you.
So this is an extra service. So when your brokers
Mm-hmm.
also use, because each dispatch can be used by both, by brokers and
Yes.
by the
Mm-hmm.
carriers. So when the
Yep.
broker decide to use it, they just get that extra package so they can watch
Yeah.
all of this, right?
Yep. Yep. That's right. Yeah. So it's an add-on. Comes in a couple different packages if they wanted that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Let's answer a few more questions before we go to the onboarding. Well, of course, some questions are not related to topic. Yeah, I think all the dispatchers, with all due respect, should never book a load to the owner for less than 425 for owner operator and the percentage on top. Well, that would be a magical truck, and I would love to do that. My job would be so easy. Everybody's paying 425, right?
Golden
And
truck.
that's a rock bottom price. Okay. Hi, Alex, and I guess this discussion may work for my company. Although I'm a certified repair technician, the goal is to provide the best labor rates for repair for drivers least. Okay, so well, it does help you with the maintenance cost. It does
Yeah.
help you to set up the shops. It does tell you to actually calculate what is it
Mm-hmm.
going to cost, so you can set that goal for the operational cost. So I mean, this is a nice, not that expensive. I can tell you this,
Oh,
for unlimited users. This is
yeah.
not expensive software TMS, which you can actually stay organized. Okay.
Yep.
So let's answer this. I think about all the expenses: software, subscription, equipment rental for the day, fuel, dev, okay, health insurance, or retirement, maintenance, business profits. Yes, of
Yep.
course. And we don't have it only in trucking, but trucking, it is a challenging industry. So we need to make sure that we all understand this. That's why we need to educate our newbies. And when we talk about newbies, we're not talking just about dispatchers. We're talking about new authorities, new owner operators. Doesn't matter if they work under their MC or under somebody's LMC. They need to understand all of this. Okay, so we're gonna go, guys, to RMIS because most of you are taking my classes and you are doing this all the time. So
Yep.
hopefully Nick can show us that how does it done and what we need to do. So let's start.
Yeah.
What is the RMIS? Because you
Yeah.
guys just put it out. So let's
Yeah.
tell what does it mean onboarding for people who just joined in the industry.
Yes, so RMIS, we acquired them almost 2 years ago, actually. They were their own company. They've been around for about 25 years, so we're on 27 years or so. So, with RMIS, what it does is it takes that broker carrier packet that a broker would typically send you in a PDF format, and it consolidates it into a website. So we design a website for brokers, shippers, really anybody looking to onboard a carrier. We consolidate or get their different qualifications, compliance. Does the carrier need to have authority? Here's a good example. LoadSmart, pretty familiar with them, I'm sure, but they look for active, common, or contract authority, a safety rating of satisfactory or none, and then
Now
they're
let's hold on, let's
at least
share
90 days.
so they can see so what
Oh,
we're
yep,
talking
sorry. So yes, we ask every broker, we design their website around their compliance. What do they require for authority or FMCSA? And then what do they require for insurance? So 100,000, a million, pretty typical, but you'll see some that will require general liability, workers' comp, all of that.
regular interchange if they have the power only unit.
Yep,
So sometimes they want to make sure that you have workers' compensation
yep,
mandatory. And a lot of them will have cargo actually 150, 200
yeah,
if they are dealing with electronics, if they are
yep.
dealing with rain cherries or maybe filet mignon, they seafood. So the coverage is going to be different.
Yeah, here's another example in regards to that. Car haulers, if you have a 5-car hauler, they'll want you to have 250,000 of insurance for cargo. They have some other rules for any auto, scheduled autos. So some customers will be very complex in their rules. Some will be very easy. This is just all of my different bookmarks, but
Mhm.
really if you talk to, and there's more customers than just this, but if you get a link and they tell you to go to carsarriveonboard.com, it will take them to this website. So if you see RMIS secure in it, you'll know that you're going through an RMIS onboarding. There's a couple
So
other options out there in the industry, but
hold on right here because I really want to make sure that dispatcher understands. So Nick just showed you a few different brokers, and he said that every broker can customize their requirements, although the link's still gonna come from RMIS because they are the one who onboarding. A lot of times the packaging, the questions, and the requirements are gonna be different. Just because a broker tells you, well, the link's coming from RMIS, it doesn't mean that it's even going to have the same amount of the information asked. And
right.
that's why a lot of dispatchers get confused. They're like, well, but it's a RMIS.
Yeah,
RMIS, it's only the third party who does onboarding process, but every broker
yeah,
can come to Nick and say, well, I want to make sure that they're going to sign this, this, and this. I want to make sure even my contract, my broker carrier agreement, instead of 3 pages, I want to make sure that it's 10 pages. I want to make sure that they have CARB certifications they can prove for me. I want to make
yep,
sure if they have any other documents, I want them to download. So all of this depends on the broker's
yes,
desires, requirements. And
yeah.
that's why I stop you here because I go through this class all the time and we practice all the time.
Yes.
And they tell me, Alex, did RMIS change? Well, it's not. RMIS still the same. Dealing with a different broker.
Yes.
So if you
Yeah.
can go one more time and just show us 2 different maybe
Sure.
brokers of the
Yeah, yeah,
requirements,
yeah.
because this would be very useful to find
Absolutely.
and clarify that. So
Yeah,
see
and
right
you
now,
you
I'm
said it
going
right.
yeah.
Yeah, you said it right. We are the ones hosting the website. We purchase this URL for them, but we are hosting it. And we do take LoadSmart's agreement, broker carrier agreement is theirs. I get this question a lot too, like why can't there just be a centralized carrier packet that me as a carrier can just send to every broker? Well, every broker has a different contract. They have different requirements. Some require this insurance, some don't require this insurance, you know. So we take, of course, their W-9. We'll have them electronically do it. We don't, signature's already on there, the dates are on there. Those are important things. We're going to capture some trailer information, company driver. But like you said, everybody's is a little bit different. You know, these, if you wind up on one of these are our, we call them a light RMIS. They're very simple. They're all pretty much the same. JB Hunt, of course, is going to be more of that premium customer. So if you see like this need help button or this phone number down here, feel free to call us. That's our support and that's for the carriers. So if you are experiencing any hiccups or questions during the process, that's why this is there. Here's a couple others. Warner, pretty popular, I'm sure. So you can see they all look different. They all have different requirements, but they all do the same thing. RMIS one, we are integrated with the FMCSA. So that's how we monitor your authority and your safety and your violations. And then we are the ones reaching out to the insurance providers. We will never accept the certificate from you as the carrier. We are only going directly to the providers. So we have roughly like 235,000 insurance certificates on file. So that's why a big reason why a lot of our customers, brokers, shippers sign up with us is because we make the job of onboarding very easy on them. They don't have to sit around, wait for insurance. And I know it's an easy thing for you to maybe send them the insurance, but unfortunately, there's a lot of fraud in the industry where an insurance certificate could be, you know, written up
And
off of Google. So,
And here's another point, because I'm also insurance agent and I'm always telling my carriers, well, when you have your renewal, guys, make sure you don't wait till the last day of renewal. You have to renew your policy at least 10 days,
yep.
because your agent has to make sure that they submit to RMIS, to on
Hmm.
that onboarding, to
Yep.
assure carrier as well, because
Yep.
those are the three main onboarding solutions right now in the USA market. So this way, you're not gonna have that 2-3 days where you cannot book the load, because what's happening if you did not make that payment? It's not the fault of RMIS. RMIS cannot simply verify that you have new policy on board. So people usually blame wrong parties, and that's what's happening every time. So as an insurance agent, the first thing I do after I receive the payment, I actually send RMIS and everybody else
Oh yeah.
those certificate holders. And that's what the
Yep.
good agency do, insurance agency do, because
Yep.
they already know this is what has to be done right away. So
Yep.
knowing this, you need to understand. But let me ask you this: with all these scams, with all of this going on, since
Hmm.
it does connect it to the safer. Let's say I'm a broker, whatever. I am a BMAC trucking. I
Sure.
am signing a contract with you, and I tell you, well, I want to make sure that the carriers have at least 90 days in the business.
Hmm.
Then I want to make sure that they have this, and this policy, whatever. But
Hmm.
I am also want to make sure if their safety score goes higher than certain percentage, you
Hmm.
notify me. Do you guys offer that as well?
Yeah, yeah, it depends on the broker's needs. Some are not too involved in CSAs nowadays. Not a whole lot of brokers use that as a credential to verify if that's a good or bad carrier. But if they choose to look at CSA scores, that is part of their what we monitor for them. So right now for LoadSmart, we're monitoring these things. If the authority goes inactive or their safety rating changes to unsatisfactory, LoadSmart will know about it. It also integrates with their TMS most of the time if they have that set up, but it basically makes it to where it will shut that carrier off if they are not certified. We have kind of two words. We have certified and uncertified. And so if you are a carrier and you're looking to sign up and you make it here and you see a fail, that means that you don't pass that rule and you won't go any further than this step. So we're helping the
What can be
broker by,
done? What can be done? Can we
yeah,
contact, see
yeah,
what's
you,
going on?
yep, you'd want to contact LoadSmart. If you didn't talk to them, there's ways for the broker to pre-qualify you, is what we call it, where they can look you up first to see if they pass or fail.
Mhm.
But if you just randomly wound up here, you started it, it says fail, reach out to LoadSmart. They do have ways to override, but that's going to be totally up to them, and it's most likely going to be something around like authority time. If you're at 89 days and their rule is 90 days, they'll most likely let you come in
Okay.
if everything else.
Let me stop you right here, because this is the biggest change in the last months and a half, because I do dispatch every day and I do a lot of people with the new 30s. Lots of companies did change their rules.
Hmm.
So for example, they used to be 60 days, now they want to be 6 months. They used to be 6 months, now they want to be a year. So even if you register, let's say months ago, and I can give you example like this, I register with GB Hunt, for example, right? They used to have 90 days. Now
Yeah.
they switched to 1 year. Let's say I did use RMIS, so I think I'm all good. I
Yep.
go and I try to book the load with GB Hunt, even on their load board, right? And it
Yep.
tells me now I do not qualify. So
Yep.
does RMIS has updated
Yep.
information which brokers switch those time frames
Uh,
nowadays? Not.
mm, no, we don't necessarily. Some of the brokers have it where they have an invite only, so you can't even see what rules that they do have. Like that BMAC one I was sharing, it doesn't list out any of their rules. So no, we don't advertise that, saying, "Hey, this broker changed this." We would imagine that would be something that the broker would need to acknowledge. We leave that on them. That is their rules and that is their carriers that they have. So they, of course, would be notified when they made that switch. We would update their portal, and then all of these carriers that don't meet that 1 year mark would go uncertified, and it's up to them on if they want to consider them good or bad. So
Okay. Okay, and yeah, they also added that now besides they switch in the time frame, you need to have the inspection with
mhm,
FMCSA. So
yep,
it's getting harder and harder,
it
and
is.
because of the supply and demand and the freight volume, of course.
Yep,
When the moment the market's gonna switch, everybody's gonna be changing the
it
rules, and they're
does.
gonna be giving the loads to guy who registered MC yesterday and got activated yesterday. We know how it
Yep,
goes. It's a business.
it is.
Well,
That's what we see.
so, what else do you think Truckstop is working on? So, you guys have a load board, you guys have
Yep,
factoring, you have TMS, you guys
yeah.
have now partnership. What else? Something that maybe something you guys are working and gonna bring to industry technology wise. What do you think? Anything in the
Um,
project?
I'm not too dived into the the carrier side of it. I do know that our low board is one of our main features and one of our main products, and we're always looking to enhance and add new tools in it. You'll notice if you go and browse around in there, some of the looks of some of the products are older than the other ones, like we showed last time, like the heat map and multi-trip. And even fuel desk, they have a different look. That's an older software that we originally had. And so we are in the process of kind of revamping all of our tools and making them on the new software, which we call V5. That's kind of our term around it. So that's kind of our focus, is enhancing that. Of course, we do have the Get Your Authority. It was something that we just kind of did on the side. We had one person doing it, but we've streamlined it more. So if you do need assistance, we can help you from the very get-go. You don't know anything about getting your authority to kind of hopping in and helping you through the midst of it. Uh, so that's kind of where we're at with it. I don't think we're going out and buying any new other
Anything?
companies, and yeah, we're kind of riding out 2023. It's not just a hard year for carriers; it's a hard year for everybody that's
I
out there.
actually
So
was reading the article that Truckstop is also gonna have some layoffs as well, like every other company.
yeah,
We've been seeing a lot of layoffs going on with the Convoy, CH Robinson. We have layoffs going
yep,
on with a lot of big companies, mega carriers, and I mean this is going to be a tough years. That's why
yep,
importance of understanding and organizing, especially for small carriers. People think, wow, why should I go and spend another $75 a month?
right,
While that $75 actually can help you save thousands of dollars if you know where the money goes, if
yep,
you know your operational cost, if you know that everything is actually invoiced and received. Believe it or not, from being in this industry, that it's not the hardest to book the loads, it's not even the hardest to hire the drivers and buy the equipment. The hardest problem is to get paid on time, and a lot of carriers, believe it or not, a lot of times they don't even invoice on time and they lose the loads which never got paid. And you
yep,
cannot afford to do this. So simple managing and accounting and organizing and knowing that your driver needs to go and have the medical card because it's expiring in 2 weeks, so you're not going to get stopped
yeah,
on the road. Everything is connected. So that's why people have to be very ignorant not to go into technology. And a simple TMS, this is kind of your 2 day trucking, because we unfortunately cannot keep doing trucking, which we did 10 years ago, 15 years
yeah,
ago, 30 years ago. And this is a reality. Innovations,
yes,
faster, organizing, but plus, it is very decent price. I am direct person, and I am telling you, for small carriers, this is more than enough product, simple enough to put together, keep it all together, and I mean very
Yeah.
affordable, very affordable.
Yes.
So very pleased. Few
Yes.
things I would like you guys to improve, like connecting factor, and so it's easier.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
something you guys can work on because I mean time changes and you need to bring the
Never know.
product. You
You
never
never
know.
know. Yep.
But we are very glad to have you again, sharing
Absolutely.
all of this.
My
Thanks for
pleasure.
taking your time. And we're going to say goodbye to you and just going to go
Sounds
over
good.
again our partnership with you guys and just catch up on a few things in trucking. Thank you,
Awesome.
Nick.
Thanks
And
for
I'll
having
see
me
you.
again.
Yeah, I'll be back after just a small, just a, oh, I Well, guys, and I am back. So we were overviewing another few products from Truckstop, and as you see that they're onboarding RMIS. If you are dispatcher, you see it all the time. You're receiving the links and you click, and now you understand why some packages look different. Although link comes from RMIS, it's because the broker has different requirements. Some of them require for you to be in a business for 90 days. Some of you require for sure to have the general coverage. Some of you require for you to make sure that you have workers' compensation. And this is all depends on the broker's desires and, of course, their broker carrier agreement. Some of them only have 3 pages. Some of them have 27 pages. It all depends how they want to run the business. We also were seeing the factoring part of it, and it seems like they do have very easy submission if you are using the phone. I would like them to connect probably its dispatch to factor and incorporate so you don't have to do double job, but it's very affordable TMS, simple, easy to maintain. You guys can text, email to your drivers, to your owner operators. What else? Remember, if you are looking, if you are a carrier or if you are a broker and you are looking to use our link, which is going to be displayed on our under the video, and it's been displayed in the beginning. If you guys committing for 3 months of their load boards, you saving 50%. Why is the link? Because we do have a partnership with a Truckstop. What else did we talk about? Well, let me see a few more questions. The truth is the truth shall be true. Okay. Hi, how are you? My current student right now, Miss Morris. How's that homework going on? Setups, right? So we're going to be covering setups in the beginning of the Saturday class. And I'm going to share you the RMIS setup, data onboarding, and of course, other third parties that they use. Okay, any other questions? Hello, guys. Hello. And we have very active person today who is actually giving us a lot of comments. If you want to change industry, quit treating owner operators like company drivers. There is no way big companies are moving for $72.20. They are not moving for less than $7 a mile. Well, that does not exist. Doesn't matter how big carrier you are, market is market. So this is just the number you throwing out there does not have no basics. If you are owner operator, if you are smaller carrier, yeah, you probably right now for drive-in, you are at 220, 230. Mega carriers, if they do have dedicated runs, well, they probably at 250, 265, maximum 280. If we are talking about cross-country loads, we are probably at that. If you're talking about shorter runs, well, they can be at 315. Nobody's paying $7 per mile, $6 per mile $5 per mile. Does not exist. So let's also, when we make the comments, let's understand the market is controlling everybody. Mega carriers, smaller carriers, right? So unfortunately, this is the truth. Okay, let the 4% of the market share with the big boys try to meet the demand, and I guarantee the rate will jump for owner operators. Well, this is going on in trucking for the last decade when they are trying to get rid of the small carriers, but still, big mega carriers cannot control the market because they do not have capacity. Remember, we live in the United States, country of opportunity, where is a small business is a small of any industry. So as much as the big mega carriers want to get rid of the small truckers, they're not gonna succeed. Any other questions? Hopefully, guys, you are joining all this. Let's just remember that our trucking safety and compliance are starting April 15th. Make sure that you are, guys, signing up if that's what you want to improve. Our previous students always getting the discount. Next dispatch class will be April 29th. It's already on our website. So do not wait to the last minute. We are having class right now. I'm going to see my students on Saturday. And here is it for people who are willing and thinking of going to the trucking business. We're going to have the webinar, which is a live webinar, which goes for 3-4 hours with all the links, explanation, numbers, understanding operational cost, understanding certification, understanding how to apply for MC, USDOT, clearinghouse, IFTA, IRP, all the trucking permits. What do you need to know to start trucking company? How much is it gonna cost you? Are you ready for this or not? So make sure you sign up. It's only $199. And believe it or not, you're going to save thousands and thousands of dollars. I am always glad to see every of my students, and hopefully, guys, together we can change trucking for better. If you guys looking for joining us as a driver, make sure you contact me or you email me. We are glad to be part of your growth. Okay. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. For people who are going to Mid-America Trucking Show in Louisville, Kentucky, well, let's connect. I will be there. We will be meeting with a Truckstop. We will be meeting with CDL Unlimited. We will be meeting with a Dat Power. We will be meeting with everybody who is in trucking industry. So I will be there personally, and I would like to connect to all of my students, to owner operators, to drivers, and making sure that together we can change trucking for better. And of course, thank you, Alex. We'll see you on Saturday, one of my students. Yes, thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. And again, try to share, try to comment, try to make sure that we are changing trucking with the knowledge. And thanks again. As of today, or as of yesterday, we had 17,000 followers. So we are growing, we're getting stronger. And of course, it's not just because of me, but because of each of you who've been coming back, who've been supporting our channel, and who simply investing time in the knowledge. Remember, knowledge is the key. And actually, finally, I'm so glad we are rebranding our website. We are coming back with totally new way of representing ourselves, branding Dispatch Training Center. And finally, we are proud of our new motto. And this is education is our core business. Without educating yourself, you guys cannot succeed. Without strong foundation, you're going to make lots of costly mistakes. Without improving every day, you're never going to achieve new goals. And it's only you, and you who can keep going. You, and you who can dream big. And it's you, and you who can just pre-paint the life. Don't listen to nobody that you cannot do in trucking is bad. Trucking is tough. Market is not changing. Well, this is a life. And as a human, If you educate yourself, you can do anything in your life. If I could have done it, well, for sure, guys, you can do it as well. Love you. Always yours. Bye, guys.
Standing in the street, can you hear me? Wake up from your sleep, come stand with me. This is our time, we're changing the world. We won't back down this time around. In every city, in every town. Whoa, we're changing the world.